Ian here with Touratech USA, and we're going to install the upper crash bars on the R1200GS water cooled. The crash bars install right about here, and this particular install, it's going to take a little over an hour to install all the parts, and that's mostly because of the disassembly, taking off the stock bodywork on the front of the bike and then putting it all back together again. You'll need some Torx, some Allens, a couple of open-end wrenches, some Loctite, and some anti-seize to complete this install. It's important to remember to apply anti-seize to the bolts that will be threading into nylock nuts for this installation. Remove the seats from the motorcycle. Remove the top cover with 5 bolts. Now remove the 2 lower black side panels with 2 bolts each by gently pulling backward. Remove 4 bolts for each side cover and let them hang loose. Now remove the 2 gray side panels with 5 bolts each. Then remove the front fender using 2 bolts. Now that all the bodywork's off, you can begin by removing these 2 screws on each side of the motorcycle. Okay, just do the same on the other side. Now you install these mount brackets at the front. You use the long button head bolts and use 2 of the spacers. 7mm spacer goes in the rear position. Do the same on the other side. It's important to make sure that this bracket is positioned correctly before you put the bodywork back on. And in order to do that, we're going to install the clamps at the bottom crash bar here and just loosely install the upper bars for a moment so we can tighten this in the correct position. Use the M8 Allen head bolts. Make sure you put anti-seize on these guys. Swing the crash bar up into place and position the crossbar in between the 2 brackets. And then use these bolts to tie everything together. We're going to do the same on the other side, loosely fitting this. And remember the anti-seize on all these bolts. Now that everything's installed loose here, we want to tighten these upper clamps so that we can figure out exactly what position these bolts need to be tightened in. Now that we've tightened these bars, we've got these brackets in position, we know we can tighten these bolts, and when we take the bars off to put the bodywork on, everything will go back together. Reinstall the front fender with 2 bolts. Now install the gray side panels with 5 bolts each. Now reattach the 2 hanging side panels with 4 bolts each. Install the 2 lower black side panels with 2 bolts each. Then install the painted cover on the top of the gas tank. Alright, now that we've mounted the bars at the upper position and we've put all the bodywork back on, we just have to tighten up these bolts on the lower clamps. Do the same on the other side. All that's left to do is put the seats on. Okay, we're all done. The bodywork's back on the bike. Crash bars are installed and tightened down. Now the radiators are well protected for your next adventure.